Welcome to another video, guys. Today we're gonna be talking about a Titus Hydra team we managed to do for one of our viewers for a paid account takeover from the last stream. I'm gonna go over the champions we managed to pick up for him, the builds we did, and the end results we actually got, including basically 10 billion on auto almost, as a quick key, which was kinda insane. So yeah, I hope you find this video helpful, and if you do, a like and subscribe would be great. And don't forget you can also check me out live on stream each Tuesday and Thursday, where I do account takeovers like these, both paid and free. And if you want to support the channel for free, you can download the game from my premium download link and start right the right way. And also don't forget to get yourself an extra legendary champion from the promo code section. But now, let's get into the video. Okay, so here is the team we actually built for the dudes, and it's nothing too crazy, but the fact that he actually had all those champions and didn't build this thing himself already definitely is pretty cool that we managed to do that for him. And no, it's not actually 10 bill, it's almost 20 billion. We actually saved on a quick key, and it literally happened on the first try, so should be decently consistent. But keep in mind, this is not a team that's gonna do as much damage on auto as it would on manual. Like, very rarely they will, and very rarely something like that's gonna happen when you have somebody like Lamasu on the team, because Lamasu, you really gotta manual her in order to give the extra cooldowns and extra turn on the proper champions. Anyway, we can already see exactly what we did for these champions. From here we can see who's and what, and it was pretty cool that there was plenty of actual gear on the account in order for us to work with it. And we are gonna go into details champion by champion, but from a glimpse of an eye you can see we have Titus in a 6-piece Merciless, a couple of pieces Zeal, the Supersonic is just there for the sake of probably a banner or something. We have ourselves Androc in a 9-piece protection, same with Wixwell. That's not the best thing to have Wixwell in, by the way. If you really want this run to be safe, you could actually get yourself Wixwell into something like 4-piece Merciless for extra cooldown reduction and 4-piece Reflex. That can be a pretty great way for you to be cycling through your A2 over and over again. But 9-piece protection is also a nice little extra bit of damage, so there's that. We have ourselves Mad Hatter in a 9-piece Feral. This way you get yourself like 10% extra damage, or was it 15? How much debuffs that Mad Hatter give? Either way, it doesn't matter, we'll look through it a little bit later, but yeah, a little bit of extra damage for your Titus this way definitely does amp up. We also have 9-piece protection on Donnie. That's again gonna be like 20% extra damage for your Titus. And last but not least, we have Lamasu, which is in a shield set. She's the only shield set in here, and she also has herself a little bit of Impulse, which is like Merciless or Reflex, but it's just a 2-piece set with a very low amount of chance, but a chance nonetheless, and obviously a little bit of Chronophage action for the extra speed. That's about it. Going through the champions, let's start off with Titus, let's say. Here we have him, like I said, 6-piece Merciless for the 30% ignore defense, very important. 35% ignore defense, actually. And also a couple of Zeal pieces, so this way you are gonna get yourself 12% extra damage, which definitely ain't no joke. The dude actually has some pretty good Hydra bonuses as well, so that's worth mentioning. We have ourselves 20 extra speed, a lot of extra crit damage, ignore defense, all of that good stuff. So yeah, maxing out the Hydra is definitely very good. For the area bonuses from Live Arena, definitely invest into those. Something that's kind of sucky is here, Titus does have a little bit of extra HP thanks to those bonuses, but still not the worst, not the worst. Something many people forget is Titus actually deals less damage the more HP you give on Titus, so very, very important. Absolutely max out the shit out of his defense and do what you can to avoid HP like the plague, guys. Like, so yeah, basically avoid HP as much as you can and get yourself as much defense and as much crit damage as you possibly can. Another thing about Titus's build, obviously you do not care at all about crit rate, because you're always going to be critting if you are under a shield, and if you're not under a shield you can just end the run. Apparently you lost. Here's where it says it, this stack is always critical if this champion is under a shield buff. So yes, this is your damage dealer, and for this to be slapping big time you need a ton of defense, you need minimal HP, and you need a ton of crit damage. That is how you're gonna get the big boy damage. Do what you can to build him best case scenario on 6-piece Merciless, 2-piece Zeal, but you could also, if you don't have the sets just yet, you could just build him in a 4-piece Lethal, 2-piece Zeal, something like that. Basically give him some kind of ignore defense. Obviously 6-piece Merciless is best because you get 2 of those pieces from the accessories and you still have room for Zeal, so that really does amp up. Important thing, Titus needs to be decently slow on the team. You don't want him to be too quick, because the quicker Titus is, this means the quicker everybody else needs to be in order for Titus to have his shield at all times. This is essential priority number uno. As you guys see, this account does not have the biggest blessing on Titans, just the bare minimum 1 star, and he gave him cruelty here. It's not a bad blessing. If if you have him at 5-star blessing, Crushing Red would be amazing. And I'm wondering if even Heaven Cast would be a better blessing right now for this Titus. I do believe it will, because he is going to have 10 buffs at all times, so that's going to be a 5% damage boost. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Heaven Cast would be better, but honestly, it would be better to save that free removal for once he gets himself a 5 or a 6-star, and then blast the Crushing Rend on it. That's going to be pretty busted. For the Relic, we gave him the Cat's Gaze. Obviously, this is the best you can give him. It is a ton of extra ignore defense, a ton of extra crit damage, so very solid stuff. If you don't have Cat's Gaze, you could just give him something like the Talon, just for the sake of vanilla crit damage. Basically, anything that gives you a little bit of extra damage would be a pretty proper relic here. Let's not go through every single relic, because that's gonna make the video a lot longer than it's supposed to be. As for gems, definitely pretty good to give him a little bit of extra ignore defense on the triangulars. I think there's a better version of this gem right now. The dude doesn't have it, so we gave him what we had. And on the circle, it would be awesome if you have the mythical extra ignore defense circle rune, but if you don't, I guess just extra turn meter boost, not the worst. Here's what the masteries are. I haven't really revised them or anything like that, but yeah, this is what we have, and this is what worked for the account. Again, I haven't gone through them in detail, so they're just kind of generic-ish masteries, but they look okay. And that's really about it for Titus. Not much else is important. You don't even need to have fully booked Titus. The only thing that matters to get booked would be the A3, because that is gonna drop your cooldowns by 2, which is gonna be huge. Next up, let's talk about the second most important champion on the team, which, believe it or not, is kind of Mad Hatter. Not so much. Let's not pretend he's the most important or anything like that. Obviously, Wixwell is the second most important, but a very important thing here with Mad Hatter is, look at this nonsense. This man needs to have a 1.5 ton crit damage, because the highest crit damage champion on the team is the first to guaranteed get eaten by Hydra. This most people probably already know about, but it's still worth mentioning. So yeah, do what you freaking can to actually get yourself a ton of extra crit damage on one of your champions, preferably somebody like Mad Hatter, because he's not super essential. And this is what's gonna happen. 440 crit damage. Obviously, he doesn't have any crit rate, because good luck giving a good amount of speed on Mad Hatter and giving him this much crit damage so you can actually have more than your Titus. As you guys saw, the Titus had like something like 430. This guy has 440, and it's gonna work like that. And the only important thing here is give him as much crit damage as you can. Like, you can give 100 crit damage on the glove, you can give 52 on the amulet, and the rest needs to be hella quick, as fast as you can, that kind of stuff. Obviously, the fastest boot you can find, a fast chest with a lot of crit damage. Basically, look for all of your best gear with as much speed and crit damage, but emphasis on the crit damage, because if you're lower than Titus, the run is over basically before it began. Like I said, it's nice to be in a 9-piece feral, but it's definitely not essential. The cool thing about 9-piece feral is allies deal 5% more damage per each debuff placed by the wearer. And what are the debuffs that Mad Hatter places? Well, Hex and Weaken, guys, that's about it. So 10% extra damage, nothing to write home about, but it's still something, so might as well get a little bit of extra damage where you can. For the Relic, we actually gave him a freaking Talon, guys. Like, good luck getting 440 crit damage without doing something stupid like this. But if you manage to actually build him in enough crit damage, you could just give him the book, like the Tome of whatever is gonna be pretty valid here as well. Journal of Necrotos, give you a little bit of extra turn meter boostage out of this thing. Wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. And the really important thing about Mad Hatter is he does, again, increase the duration of all of your buffs, and mainly your shields is the really important thing, but also he brings Hex, which is gonna be a ton of extra damage, as you're about to see once the fight actually starts. And the Weaken is also not the worst thing in the world. You're gonna notice we don't even have decreased defense on this team, which is sounding crazy, but what's also sounding crazy is dealing 200 million damage with a single A2 from Titus, so bear with me, guys. Here's the masteries. We actually had to give him this freaking mastery, which is definitely one of the masteries ever, but yeah, again, getting all of that crit damage did require us to cut some corners. It was either this or cutting down Titus's crit damage, and who in the right mind is gonna decrease their crit damage on their nuker? Like, what are we? So yeah, if you didn't manage to get all that crit damage, these masteries might work for you, but if you did, you could just use some more generic masteries, like getting yourself War Master would give you a little bit of extra damage, but honestly, I think this was pretty valid as well. Next champion would be Wixwell. Here we have it. The man, the myth, the legend. And he is in a 9-piece protection, which, again, not essential. He does not need to be the one in 9-piece protection. He could have been in shield set. He could have been in reflex. He could have been in instinct and whatnot. Basically, so you can cycle through your A2 a lot more often. But we chose in 9-piece protection because this indeed is gonna be 15 extra damage because he does bring 3 different buffs. And you're gonna be using the A3 on Titus at the beginning. And after that, you just keep on doing the A2 over and over again as much as you can. And the cool thing about him is he also could be provoking the head of cleansing. I don't know. It's a legal name, mischief or whatever. But yeah, you want to be provoking one of the heads so it doesn't do the cleanse. And Wixwell does bring that. But also, this is the really important skill. You want to be maxing out a lot in the beginning especially. So you are going to be using Lamasu on your Wixwell over and over again. So you can use as much A2s as possible. So you can actually amp up the shield as fast as possible and start hitting like you mean it with your Titus. For a relic, Vault Keeper Wixwell would be best in a Magma Shield, guys. Sadly, we do not possess a Magma Shield on this account. If you are lucky enough to have it, that'd be amazing for you. The Magma Shield really does amp up the damage. That's basically 1 million extra shield on your champion. Here it is. It gives a ton of resistance as well. Very, very solid. And something I forgot to mention is your champions also need to have some resistance. Some resistance is required on them because one of the heads is going to try to keep on stealing your shields, and if the Titus shield gets stolen, the run is over again. But we do have Androc on the team, so he does bring this, which is basically 100 extra resistance for everybody, and also he does bring increased res, so you really don't need to building too much resistance on any of the champions, but having something like 200 resistance would definitely be a good idea. Usually that happens alone just from the blessings and from the area bonuses, but if you don't have those yet, you might need to actually concentrate on a little bit of resistance. Anyway, what do we care on Wixwell? Well, basically build him in a 9-piece protection, like I said. That's gonna give you the extra damage. Build him as fast as you can, like really, really fast, at least 300 speed, which is not really fast if we gotta be honest, but 300 speed would be a good idea. If you are gonna rely on his provokes, try to build him in 350 accuracy. 300 plus is also fine. The resistance, like I said, at least 200 on everybody. And having a good amount of defense is not a bad idea, but honestly, it kind of doesn't matter here. Like, it's all about the speed. The defense, it's the most important thing about the defense is to have a lot on Titus so his shield does not actually get lowered by the Hydra hits. But that's true for everybody else as well. Like, if your champions have good defense, their shield is gonna grow higher than the damage they're taking from the Hydra. So if you're seeing somebody loses their shield because they took too much damage, it's because their defense is dog water. So no need to concentrate too much more on Wixwell. Like I said, Magma, Heart here. For a blessing, you could give him Cruelty, and for masteries, here's what the dude had. Again, nothing too fancy here, just some generic masteries. So now let's move down to Lamasu. Here she is in all her glory. The shield set on this account was nothing to write home about, but we still managed to stitch something together. As you see, this Lamasu is definitely not very quick, but still close to 300 speed. The HP is definitely sufficient, sitting at 90k. The resistance is there, and the accuracy actually was not there. That is something I noticed later, so I did see the dude actually has a better banner than the one I gave him. Here's one, a little bit slower, but a lot of extra accuracy. So this banner should be doing much better for his next run. We did notice quite a few actual resistances from the Hydra in the fight. You're gonna notice that, but we didn't have time to revise it. It actually worked well enough, so there's that. So yeah, 4-piece shield set. Somebody has to be in a shield set. Might as well it be Lamasu, because we didn't have any good reflex anyway, so might as well. We still managed to give her a couple of impulse pieces for that 12% extra chance to reduce a cooldown, and the reduction we want is to be landing on the A3, because this way you're gonna be able to do your be it Wixwell shield grow faster, or at some point when your shield is very extended, you could be doing it over and over on your Titus to get extra damage, or literally on anybody you need, but those would be your 2 prime suspects. So yeah, do what you can to make her quick. A lot of HP if you're building her in shield set, and decent amount of resistance, decent amount of accuracy if you're trying to land this, and you really are trying to land this, because without block buffs, you are not gonna have a super happy fun time against the Hydra. The blessing here again is Cruelty, and here's what the masteries are. I think these are for PvP, I think he said he used her, but they don't need to be anything special, honestly, so there's that. Another thing I forgot to mention is you're actually gonna try and build all of your champions into decently high crit damage, guys. Notice that we have Lamasu at not the highest crit damage, but still something along the lines of like 200 crit damage with the bonuses, 192. The reason behind that is, like I said, the first champion that's gonna get devoured by Hydra is gonna be the one with your highest crit damage. After that, the Hydra still prioritizes champions with higher crit damage, but if all of your champions have decently high crit damage, odds of your Titus to get eaten would be a little bit lower. It's not a perfect science, but it's a science nonetheless. I think a lot of people have proven that this does give you a decent chance of your Titus not getting eaten as often, so give it a try, build your champions as much crit damage as you can while maintaining as high speed and whatever, and that might actually work out better for you. That is something I forgot to mention when we talked about Wixwell. We actually did give him crit damage on the gloves again, so again he is at least 250 crit damage, which is definitely pretty sufficient. Second to last champion, let's talk about Donnie, and here he is. Again, 9-piece protection. He is going to be bringing a good amount of buffs for you. The increased speed, the continuous heals, the strengthen, definitely not the worst. As you see, this Donnie is in a freaking lightning cage. He could have been in a cruelty, I'd say, if we really want to min-max the damage, but it is what it is. No need to have exactly perfect champions for this to work, which is kind of nice. What are we looking on the stats again? As fast as possible, 300 plus preferably. Good crit damage if you can. Again, this could be a crit damage glove. The account simply does not have more than 2 crit damage gloves from protection, so we had to cut some corners. Crit damage on the amulet if you can, and the rest is as fast as possible, a little bit of resistance, that kind of stuff. For the relic, Journal of Necrotos is a pretty good idea. Like, this is gonna work everywhere decently well because he does indeed give you a little bit of turn meter boostage. And for the masteries, here's what we have. Again, this is not for specifically for Hydra, but it specifically worked. And the last champion here would be a mythical, and I should have mentioned this earlier now that I said it. This is gonna work without Androc, guys. If you don't have Androc and you have Ferrol, which again is not the easiest champion to get, but Ferrol would also be a good champion to bring. Androc just makes this so much freaking easier. Like, it's literally impossible for the shields to fall off out of your Titus with Androc because he is the 4th champion that extends shields here. Yeah, we have Hydra extending, Wixwell extending, Donnie extending, and now Androc extending, and heck, we even have freaking Lamasu resetting the extender, so it's literally impossible to lose the shield on Titus this way, because Androc does have indeed this thing. But the really cool thing Androc has is the extra resistance he gives, basically from his passive as well as from his active A3. Increasing the resistance basically makes it almost impossible for you not to have enough resistance to be resisting the Hydra BS. He also brings strengthen, which ain't no joke, continuous heal, and heck, even increased defense. So those are 4 freaking buffs Androc is bringing, so it's gonna be amazing for you to have him in 9-piece protection, because that's going to be 20% extra damage for your idiots, which is no joke. Again, on the build, 300-ish speed, crit damage as high as you can. This one could get ascended. This one, we did not have a crit damage amulet for him, but it still worked. So yeah, those will be the important stats you're looking for here. But if you indeed have yourself Ferrol, that is also going to work. What does Ferrol bring? He brings not only increased resistance, but also decreased accuracy and block buffs for that matter. Like, if your Lamasu fails, he's going to be an extra failsafe, but it's really nice that you get yourself the increased res, the perfect veil, and also his passive ain't no joke. He does bring a lot of extra damage. Like, he literally has a protection set on himself without a protection set, and you could build him in a protection set or a feral set. Both would work, giving you a little bit of extra boostage, 10% debuffs with this, 10% buffs with this, that kind of stuff. But yeah, Androc also a pretty valid champion to be bringing. For a relic, he actually has the Perch Shadow. This could mess it up because this way Androc could actually outrun his shields. What you could do is, honestly, I don't know, what the hell relic do we even care about this guy? Technically speaking, if you have yourself a lot of crit rate idiots on the team, you could actually give him Tome of Necrotos, because he does indeed turn meter boost each time an ally crits. But as you guys saw, we have a lot of crit damage on our idiots, but not a lot of crit rate, so the only one that's actually gonna be critting a lot would be Titus, and he's gonna be critting not so very often because he's also kind of slow, but still, Necrotos Tome could be okay. okay here. It's kind of whatever, really. Here's the masteries. Again, doesn't really matter. Like, God knows we don't care about this. But yeah, it was just what we used on this run. Not exactly something you should be copying, that's for sure. And I think that's about it for the champions, guys. That's about it for the champions. Now I'm gonna show you the run where I do explain a lot of important intricacies when you're actually fighting the Hydra. It's gonna be from the stream itself, so no camera, and I'm also talking to the dude real time. And I'm also gonna show you the quick battle after that, so you guys see that it actually does work pretty well. It still has a lot of work to get done, like half of the items were not even leveled to 16, we haven't really done the glyphs as much, and we're not even having a good blessing on Titus, we're not even having a magma shield, but as you are gonna see, it's still gonna be very, very sufficient. So yeah, let's play some of those videos. Hope you enjoy. It shouldn't matter what the order is in. Okay, Wixwell starts with this and never uses it again. And he always uses this first. Donnie starts with this, then with this. No, actually he doesn't. That's weird. He opens with this, but then with this. It's kind of weird like that, but let's follow the pretty pictures just to be safe. Hydra is the slowest, so he can extend. Androc, I think he starts with this, so he can then extend. And he never uses it after that, actually. So like this and like this. And never use this, obviously. Titus does not use, and always does this. Okay, this should be a preset. We might even give it a quick battle after we have made sure that the team actually looks okay in action. Let's see. Now you're gonna notice the first champion that's getting eaten would be Mad Hatter. There you go, Mark of the Hydra is on the highest crit damage champion. As soon as you see this on Titus, this means that the run is over and you gotta restart. This is the beauty of these teams. It's fucked up like that, but it's a whole lot of RNG kind of fiesta. We built Wixwell in 9-piece protection, so might as well give the big boy buff on Titus, so that's 15% extra crit. What did we say the Turtle Man does? Opens with this. There we go. She blocks. This guy extends. And it's gonna be very important for you to keep track of your shield plus shield. Always make sure Titus has the shields. Everybody else might not have the shield anymore, but if Titus loses the shield, the run is over. Okay, when you're attacking with your Titus, it's best to be attacking the lowest defense heads. One of the lowest defense heads is this one, but since it doesn't have Hex on it right now, odds of you hitting into her, not very high. Another low defense head would be this one. It has a lot less defense than the rest. This is something you can basically look at from the raid stages tool. Hydra, doesn't matter what rotation, they're all the same. And here you have it. Here's the yellow head, Head of Mischief, defense. Hold up. This guy has a ton of defense. What am I talking about? Wait, what? What? Is this bugged, guys? This is bugged. They all have the same defense and attack right now. What the fuck, game? No, they messed up something. Everybody has the same thing right now. Except for the resistance and accuracy and shit. No, it's bugged. It's bugged, but from memory, Head of Mischief is the best target. Head of Torment is a great target. The rest... 2 of them were very bad targets, 2 of them were okay targets. Either way, doesn't matter. Yeah, it's bugged. Anyway, here I'm gonna attack into this one. Honestly, I'm just gonna A1 here, actually. I'm just gonna A1 in this case for the sake of getting Hex out. Because after Hex is out, it's gonna be a lot more damage. And right now, our shield is not that big anyway. So yeah, the whole point of this is you're always supposed to be resisting the heads trying to steal your shit. I didn't even try to build Titus in resistance. Now that I said it, I might have to. But It should be fine. It should be fine. With Lamasu, you're trying to reset your Wixwell as much as you can so that you can actually get yourself more bigger, better shield faster. Let's get the Hex on. We have the extensions big enough right now, I'd say. Bigger, better shields. It's already growing nicely. I'm gonna have to double check some of the resistances because I really slept on them completely just because I know we have Titus on the team, but we still need a little bit of res. Okay. Couple of mil damage, ain't nothing wrong with that. Also, this Lamasu feels like she's missing a little bit of accuracy, I'd say. But this is the gist of it. This is the gist of it. You no longer really need to be using the A3 about anything as long as everybody has shields. You don't need to be using this. At some point, somebody is going to lose their shields. Don't pretend for a second somebody's not going to be losing their shields. But for the most part, after the buffs are on, you're going to be extending them forever. So there's no reason for your Androc to be using his A3 anymore. There's no reason for your... I think that's about it, actually. Just Androc, but yeah. Anyway, let's keep on clapping. Was there any other reason? I don't think there is, but let me do it. Maybe somebody's missing something, but no, nobody was missing anything. Everybody has their buff bar full. Everything is right. Okay, Titus is gonna do a big boy slap really soon. This wasn't one of it. Make the shield bigger. Get Hex out. And next time Titus hits, it's gonna be a little bit bigger than what you're expecting. But it's also not gonna be as big as it's gonna be. Let me try to do this. Let me get this guy big. Get that shield on. And now, boom, goes the dynamite. If everything goes according to plan, all of the heads should be exploding right about now, thanks to the hex on this, no hex on this, so this one's not gonna explode, but let's see. Well, still a bit small, but 10 milli, ain't nothing wrong with that. If we've done our job right, at the end you should be seeing 50 mil easy, maybe even 200 mil. We have definitely overshot the buff continuation, like everybody is having so much buffs right now, it's not even funny. On my team, I'm actually losing my shields on everybody else quite quickly. With you, since we have Androc instead of Ferrol, that is an extra extending champion, so that's good. As when you do get Ferrol, it's gonna be better because his passive gives you extra damage. So the Titus damage is only as good as the supporting champions around him. Right now we have Donian protection, so that's like 20 extra damage. Androc is 20 extra damage. Hydra is 15 extra damage. And Wixwell is 20 extra damage. So all of that combined really does amp up a lot. That's how you get the big boy damage. Let's remove these debuffs. And as soon as the shield becomes as big as it can, you're gonna know it's as big as it can. I'm gonna show you when it happens. But basically, the shield becomes just super clustered white bars. I'm actually gonna use Androc's Confidant? This is the first time I see they have some kind of lore between themselves. That's funny. But yeah, I'm gonna increase Wixwell's turn meter with Androc right now. This doesn't hurt. It usually gives ally protect, but since everybody has their buff bar full with 10 buffs, there's no room for anything else. This way you get to actually push other people's turn meter boost a little bit. We have free and paid account takeovers are. This one is paid, but we also are going to do a couple of free ones today, as well as one more paid one. See if we can clear Josh's Amius. Okay, it's still not the biggest shields. I think one more A2 from Wixwell, and that's going to be the biggest shield you can have. Okay. Nope, one more. Ally protection, you say? Let's see if we can kick this one, Stephen. Not bad.
I want to save the link to this video just to be able to remember.
Okay, this is still not the biggest shield. The shield can become one more bigger, I think. So let's see. No, you're not wrong. I think it did an update or something. Anyway, here's what it is. So far, we're still dealing minuscule amounts of damage, by the way. It does take a little bit of time to amp up. Check the description, the Metafy link. God damn it, it's still not the biggest shield. What the fuck, man? Takes 5 business days to get it. We can definitely make... we can definitely make Titus a lot faster. Okay, Wixwell right now has the biggest shield. Everybody has the biggest shield except Titus. I guess maybe we've attacked into a reflect damage head or something. Let's get this guy off. Okay, now Titus has the biggest amount of shield. So the next time you see Titus smack, that's gonna be close to as big as he can. Which might not be as amazing. After all, he's not having a big blessing. He's... Yeah, this Lamasu definitely has too low accuracy. Gotta revise her.
More accuracy. Yeah.
But the good news is it's idiot-proof. The Titus team does look idiot-proof. It's not gonna be the biggest, bestest amount of damage, but I think it's gonna be consistent even on auto. We're gonna give that a try. And I just wanna do a decent, proper smack right now. You don't have the magma shield, that's a big no-no, but eventually you shall.
One day.
I wanted that head to live so it can actually get its teeth kicked in. Eventually, now I'd say it's a pretty good time for you to start using your A3 on your Titus so he can do as much A2s as possible. You want to be timing these right. Right now, I'm pretty sure Titus is actually ready to do it anyway, so I'm not going to waste it. But yeah, this Lamasu is not landing anything, basically, so that's something we forgot to check. And now, who are we going to smack? This one. This one. We have Hex here, so both of them are going to explode. Boom, motherfucker. And that's the big boy damage. This is what we are striving for, guys. This is what the endgame goal was. But wait, there's more. Let's wait a turn, and we are gonna land Hex with Mad Hatter first, and then we are gonna get to see a really good amount of damage. There we go. Now next time Titus smacks, you're gonna see some pretty funny numbers. Again, pay attention to the heads. This one takes good amount of damage. The others are not taking as much damage. And there you go. Let's see it, guys. Drum roll, please. Boom, motherfucker. 87 mil. With the hex, that was 140 mil. Smack. Well, I think a job well done, guys. I don't know about you, but I think we did the thing. If I didn't know any better, I'd say we did the thing. Let's click free regroup, fix up your Lamasu a little bit, and call it a day, shall we? 285 accuracy. It's pretty close to operational. I'd say that's good enough. Okay, ready to see what it's gonna do on quick. Let's do that then. Quick me sideways. I think you take those.
Yeah.
If I didn't know any better, I'd say you take those. I'm pretty sure this can do even 5 bill. But finish off your glyphing, and it should be working amazingly well. This is going to be pretty close to what you're going to be using on Chimera as well, but there we are going to be losing Mad Hatter, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe Donnie. Yeah, I don't remember. I'm going to have to remind myself about that, but next time. Alrighty, man. All around, I think we did quite the good thing on your account here now, didn't we? So that's gonna be it for this video, guys. I really hope this helped you figure out how you could be doing this for your own account. I know it's not an easy thing to be doing, like it does require a lot of specific champions, a lot of good gear, and a lot of specific knowledge, but with the video, I hope this indeed helped you actually manage this for your own account, because I see so many people having these champions, but so many people still actually fail to build their self a proper Titus team and actually start smacking big time. Check me out live on stream each Tuesday and Thursday for free or paid account takeovers, and don't forget you can support the channel for free by downloading the game from my premium download link and starting Raid the right way. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm Chris05, and I'll see you in my next video or stream.